orcs and elves living together? What kind of fresh hell have we stepped into here? They do travel in herds. Fantastic. But mostly not anything we can't handle here, so we'll just try to finish off the floor. Hopefully those two large rooms of excitement were just about the worst that we have yet to come to pass here on Elf 2. Almost a good indication of how potentially trying to break into the final vault in Elf 3 would go, which is not great at the moment. Would definitely like to have slightly better defenses. Even if I can get like a branded tower shield, then I would be pretty guilt-free about just launching all of our defense scrolls onto that bad boy. Could be nice for sure. Would be pretty great. I mean, there is the rest of Elf 2. I feel like I definitely almost want to explore at least everywhere except for the end vault. If I can play this a little bit cautiously here and not do anything too stupid, and that would be pretty swell. Don't think it's worth an idealize, so we're probably just gonna see if we can get through this encounter in one piece. Let's see, this is... no, that's where we don't want to hang out. We see fancy stone walls, Ella, and we walk the other direction. This we know to be true. But not too shabby. So that looks to be like the end vault. It's a weird orientation here. I'm used to seeing like a corridor of these stone walls. But I think it's gotta be, right? Let's drop an exclusion there for now. And we can kind of avoid the area and see if we end up coming across a similar looking entrance exit deal in the near future. Scroll of Silence I definitely would like to add into our repertoire here. So what the heck can I get rid of? I mean, this Arbalist of Freezing, probably not super necessary. Even this Quarterstaff I don't actually really see myself swapping to any point soon. Guess I could train just enough, and then between the +9 and its speed, it probably would do half decently against the majority of enemies that we come across. And what else? What else? Polymorph Scroll that I'll probably never use, but I still carry around just for kicks. Just to tell myself, you know, maybe one day it will be the crux between life and death, the one thing that keeps us on this side of the corporeal plane. Maybe Scroll of Torment. That one I can feel a bit more confident about letting go of. Unlike our undead characters, it is more likely to hurt us than help us, so we'll just leave that bad boy alone. The one exception there is that we could potentially make an argument to use it against the Royal Jelly. Now that I say it out loud, I've interested myself. I've piqued my own curiosity here. Because it at least gets the kind of initial bout of slimes out, and then we could potentially transition that into an immolation strat. It's interesting for sure. The real question becomes now, do I dare risk entrance into the end vault, or should we just leave for now, save it for a rainy day, potentially work our way through a bit of vaults, then come back? I mean, I'm not really wanting for anything. We're looking pretty solid across the board here for the moment. So you know what? Let's do it. Let's head off to vaults and see how things are looking, see how things are feeling. I mean, one thing I was curious about. What do you mean I'm already here? I say go to vault 0. Hello? I did notice that we had 13 and 14 here, so I was kind of curious what was going on with that. DCSS, are we okay? Why do we think vaults are on this floor? Apologies for the delay, but this is a bit of a strange bit of behavior here. I'm probably just missing out on something if I had to guess. Huh. How about that? Well, regardless, we'll plop our way into vaults, and let's start blitzing our way through this son of a gun, shall we? Another fantastic resist poison ring, 2 pips of fire resistance, some additional dex. I'll hold on to that bad boy, or I'll mark it as a potential buy for the future, because if we ever decide we need a little bit of extra defensive capabilities against an Orb of Fire, son of a gun, we know that we have that available to us. And for the time being, we'll continue dumping everything we have into dexterity, plus 6 plate armor. Slightly tempting, for sure. Again, I think it's much too heavy. Maybe we should try that theory, though. We do have 20 strength. Okay, this is an octopode seed, right? Just all of the most absurd rings. If you're playing like an octopode stabber, you could have up to like 50, maybe even 60 plus dexterity by this point. Just wild stuff. I mean, I believe that is our current seed on the screen here. So if anyone's feeling adventurous and wanting to explore some octopode options, I mean, definitely let me know how it goes. And if you manage to survive long enough to get a hold of the 8 best rings this world has to offer, oof, yeah, that is rough. Slows our attack all the way to 1.1 as opposed to our 0.7 from our current armor, which is already slightly slowed, I believe. If we take a peek in here, Acid Dragon Sails slightly slower attacks with this weapon. So, you know, we're already living slightly vicariously. I mean, going up to 22 AC is real nice, but unfortunately not viable for now. It also shores up some of our resistance weaknesses here. So maybe, exactly, maybe, Shad, with a bit more armor training, we could come back and revisit that in the future. But for the time being, I think I'm pretty happy with what we're currently digging into here. So we should be alright to finish off the majority of vaults, as long as we play carefully, you know, use the distance to our advantage and keep just firing everything down. I mean, if the game wants to keep handing Yaktor packs at us, and I don't mind whatsoever. And of course, with the Yaktars, you always have to keep in mind, folks, that even though they're technically half bovine, we do call them sheep folk around here. Gets under their skin, nettles them up real bad. Not a lot from this acquirement scroll, which isn't the end of the world. I mean, we've gone exceptionally lucky with them so far. In fact, that might have been where... Is that where our bow came from, now that I think about it? I acquired it. Yeah. So we've been lucky enough. I will take what I can get, and for now, I guess we just take the money on this bad boy. Normally, on a lot of hunter characters, this hand crossbow would be huge. You know, one of the few ranged weapons that would allow us to keep our shield active. Of course, though, with a Formicid, not quite so much of a deal breaker, so we'll just leave that bad boy for the time being. And let's just keep on keeping on here, shall we? Do have a nice amount of cash, so we can definitely head back relatively soon here and explore all the wish list items that we've left behind in various shops throughout the dungeon so far. And hopefully we'll get to the point where we can afford, you know, everything that our heart could possibly desire. That's the dream. In fact, let's maybe take a peek at our shopping list. Hearing, don't really need. We have 19 of them. Lig, we still have a few, so I'm not in any hurry. Fog, we have 9. Heal wounds, we actually have a ton of even. Magic mapping, I'll probably buy at some point. This box of beasts, actually, is super high on the menu. Scroll of Silence is big. Right, more enchant armor. This, oh my gosh, the experience potion. I kind of forgot how much good stuff we've been leaving lying around here. With that in mind, let's get this box of beasts now, and I'll potentially also run up for that experience potion. See how it's going. But we'll buy one of these bad boys. Thank you very much. And once again, let's pop in here and let's run up for that potion of experience. We'll spend the majority of our cash, but seeing as how we've already found our Wandering Bazaar, probably don't need to hold on to any money. So let's just feel a bit more experience, shall we? Yeah, we'll dump it into what we're currently training. That is fine by me. And back to vaults we go. Fantastic. Alright. Okay, wait, now the game knows to take us to 14. What happened? If anyone has witnessed this behavior before, has any ideas, inclinations as to why D13 was thought to be our vaults and then disappeared, even though we knew for a fact where it was, let me know, because that was definitely throwing my brain for a loop. Still is. Still trying to decide what the heck is going on with life here. But fantastic. Ola once again being a little too intense. Let's chill for a bit here. Maybe some idealized action will help out. At least keeping you alive slightly longer. Did not update until I stepped on the entrance, maybe? It definitely seems to be something along those lines. I'm curious why it got the idea of 13. I'm trying to remember the possible ranges. It is a pretty narrow range of floors. Is it even just 13 and 14 that your vault entrance can show up? I'm blanking for the moment, unfortunately. Oh, did not realize. Alula down. I repeat. Ghost down. Let's just back around this corner so we at least reduce the number of friends attacking us at once here. Oh me oh my. Let's see. Maybe some charming action? I said maybe some charming action. You're looking beautiful today, my orc friend. Oh right, and I got so used to being able to fire through my ancestor, kind of forgot that's just not how it just always goes. And then if you could retreat that way, I think I saw someone over there. Thank you, friend. Oh, hello there, my wizard pal. Perfect. Oh, thanks, chat. According to Wiki, it is 1314. So yeah, maybe that confused it. I mean, I still doesn't fully answer the question because we did know for a fact where it was. We'd definitely seen it before. But hey, who knows the whims of the dungeon and how its mind operates. Such is one of the great mysteries in life. Okay, that went about as ideal as possible. Summoners are a bit of a nasty spot for us in general because they bring in enough bodies and we get a bit screwed over with our largely single target damage. But in this instance, you know, just being able to take them out in one shot apparently does all the heavy lifting no problem. So you do love to see it. Ruined scale mail? I mean, we could potentially... I feel like scale mail is still going to be slightly too heavy. I want, like, some artifact ring mail, I think would be the dream option for us in the future. It's either that or most likely swapping into some dragon scales, some of the lighter dragon scales specifically. Oh, I think the Convoker got off a call to arms there. Whoopsie daisies. Oh, and they're going to do so again, so let's use our noggin, whip out the Quicksilver, and that definitely takes care of them. No problem whatsoever. Fantastic. Again, I start exploring before waiting for my ancestor to come back, which is very stupid of me. Do not do as I do, kids. Maybe since it was on the floor, reveal instead of revealing the tiles I move. Ooh, that's an interesting idea. Definitely could have been. Yeah, maybe it didn't quite register properly. Don't know how repeatable that is in the future, especially actively. You kind of just have to luck into it. But maybe something to keep an eye out for if I do ever come across that weird, like, pseudo Vaults 5 entrance. Because that is what that was, where we came down the stairs and we were just absolutely surrounded by new and exciting friends. Should I idealize again? I guess it did wear off, so we could go for it. But fortunately, we didn't do so because it would have, in the end, been a bit of a waste of piety as we just swamp our way through the rest of the enemies. And there we go. And I think now it will be a bit of additional time to train armor. Let's see if we get that up to a nice high score. I don't know if we'll go all the way to 18, but potentially that will leave us in a half decent spot. Ooh, and this is our first pair of gloves. Oh my gosh, folks. Cold resistance and positive energy. It's it's the only resistance that we're currently lacking. Bit of good old positive energy there, so that is just beautiful. That does mean I need to once again find something to drop. I keep being tempted to drop our Charming Wand, but then in the fight against all the orcs, it actually kind of came in clutch. So maybe we'll hold on to that for just a moment. We'll get some additional AC as well as looking real nice in the resistances department. You do love to see it. Now, one thing we're still hoping for is to potentially find like maybe a fire resistance shield. Actually, probably a reflective brand. Reflective branded tower shield that I can then swap ourselves back over to the regen amulet. Probably about as good as it gets. So here's to keeping an eye out for that in the future. And let's just once again keep our ancestor alive. Maybe not fully necessary, but we're not really spending our piety otherwise, so it's kind of a nice excuse to explore and actually use some of Hep's abilities instead of just completely ignoring them like we have been for a lot of this. Yeah, I think Ring of Protection is definitely up there to go. I'm holding on to it mostly out of nostalgia. You know, it got us here in the first place. Dance with the one that brought you and whatnot. But it is very much on the short list of things that we can pretty safely get rid of. And there we go. Fantastic. You know what, I'm gonna believe in you. Perfect. Oh, so close, my friend. So close. I shouldn't just immediately run into combat here, and in fact, let's chill and wait for our ancestor to get back on their feet. Again, as a figure of speech more than literally here. Not too shabby. Bad order of operations there. I went down the stairs, and then I glanced up to... Oh wait, what vault floor are we on? So if we were going from 4 to 5 there, then we could have definitely found ourselves in a bit of a nasty situation here, a bit of a nasty surprise, but fortunately, no such misfortune, and so we will just continue on like we've done absolutely nothing wrong. Everything is just wonderful and beautiful. Let's idealize once again here to keep our good old buddy alive. And not too shabby. Fantastic. I mean, definitely going through with pretty good speed here. I agree, nostalgia, always a good win. Gotta respect the protection ring. Again, would not have made it this far without you, my friend. And there we go. This summoner finally realizes what's good for them and brings in enough bodies to block the way, so we will have to resort to our piercing Quicksilver wand there. Again, a bit of a waste, seeing as how we're not taking advantage of its main kind of dispelling effect. But hey, it is what it is, and definitely saves us some trouble. The longsword of 1,000 dances. Beautiful, really. I mean, it would go nice with our ridiculous dexterity, but I think the only longsword I'll be willing to swap to is maybe like... we get like a triple sword, that would be pretty wild stuff for sure. Again, we're not holding our breath for it. It's not exactly strictly necessary as we, you know, just bashing our way through everything no problem with our beautiful longbow. But it would play nicely with our kind of focus on dexterity. So if we're gonna take anything with us, ooh, tower shield, I think unbranded, unfortunately. Bit of a shame there, you son of a gun. Would have been a nice opportunity, but that is a-okay. And we'll just keep an eye out for the future. Hey, Korean Knife, how's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday or early Monday. And and a great weekend in general. Always lovely to see you, my friend. It's definitely been a good evening for us. I guess you did say good evening, which should indicate that it's probably Sunday. And in fact, I was pretty sure that I remembered you being in a similar time zone as well. But regardless, to all of you lovely folks out there, hope you're having a fantastic day, whatever day that may be. And there we go. Remembered to stop myself this time. Not gonna immediately head down into Vaults 5 and make some regrettable decisions. But speaking of decisions, where the heck are we going next? Is it just going to be to depths? Do we finish off the vault on Elf and see if we get any other useful treasures there? Maybe. Getting pretty close to being ready for Slime. Potentially going to try and get our armor trained up and swapped into something slightly heavier before we head down there. In fact, let's maybe try out this elf. It's tough because with Formicid, there's not so much of a like, oh, I'm just gonna dabble, I'm gonna try this out. You pretty much are hard committing to anywhere you go without the ability to teleport. So there is that. Ooh, Longsword of Distortion. Interesting. Don't end up getting sent to the Shadow Realm here today. But definitely was a possibility. Let's just back off, give our ancestor some healing time real quick. Fantastic. And then once more into the breach. Definitely focus on the summoner if we can here. Beautiful. So far no Blade Masters, which is pretty wonderful. Master Archers actually probably are the sketchiest opponent for us. Fairly evasive and have a really high damage output, which does not play well with our relatively squishy overall style here, but we'll see how it goes. Glass cannons, as long as you can murder everything, you're gonna be in a pretty fantastic spot. Now I just want to make sure to slow down a bit there, be ready to idealize if our ancestor took any more unnecessary damage. Fortunately, not doing too poorly. Oh, hi Donald. It's not a tower shield of reflection, but it is a reflection shield. Gonna have to decide on that one. You know what? I will sick my ghost on you and see how it goes. You know, great work while it lasted, my friend. Ah, right. Of course, calling attention to ourselves with the blast. A bit more noise than I probably should be making as we explore new and exciting territory here, but not the end of the world by any means. And now, do I pick this up? So base shield rating of 8 versus 13. So if I just enchant this up, it is as good as the tower shield, plus it has reflection, so I could swap back to my regen amulet. I mean, it does sound pretty lovely to me. Can drop some enchant weapon scrolls. We can always come back for them in the future. We have plenty of turns at our disposal. So let's see, we're at 32 shielding, and we go to 24. And 19 swapping out from our reflection amulet as well. So definitely lose a decent amount of shielding, to say the least. Attack delay is at 0.6 now. Okay, I didn't even notice when we got to min delay in our acid dragon scales. And in fact, if we look, current strength and armor skills slow attacks with missile weapons like the longbow only slightly, it says. So not enough to be an appreciable difference, at least. I don't know if there are secret further decimal places past the 0.6, but as far as I'm aware, it does not seem to be the case. So I guess we could just enchant this up. The downside to that is that we don't get to enchant up the eventual, like, dragon armor that we want to switch into. I guess maybe we could even end up in the acid dragon scales for the rest of the game. but would like to enchant it up to as close to that maximum as we possibly can if that does end up being the case. I'm not feeling especially decisive at the moment here, so if maybe for now we'll swap back into our regular getup here and we'll finish off the rest of Elf, see what we get. Oh, okay, that's quite the ring. 3 pips of RN and willpower plus resistance to corrosion. I mean, okay, I guess I'll be taking that. Fantastic. Crypt is very much an option if we decide to go that route now. Can be pretty free to ignore most of the stuff here. And right, Quicksilver Dragon Scales. Armor's rating of 7, so again, just slightly heavier than our current. Does this give willpower? Repels both attacks on the wearer's willpower and magical modification of itself, so it cannot be enchanted. So yeah, extra willpower. That does sound pretty dang nice, if I do say so myself. We could probably swap out from this ring to this one, max out our resistance to negativity, replace the corrosion resistance that we'd then be missing. Again, we're just going to be mixing and matching, trying stuff on here and seeing how it goes. It does slow down our weapon slightly here, and then we'd probably swap over to this ring. Leaves us in a pretty wild state resistance-wise. Fire looking a little low, all things considered, but up to 20 AC as well. The only shame is that we're also saying goodbye to our theme here, our green and gold. Ooh, and a book of invocations is beautiful. Okay, well there's the answer to the slightly lacking fire resistance. Holy moly. Okay. Ring of Protection, nostalgia be darned. Goodbye, my friend. You served us well. Wish you the best in your continued career. Maybe another adventurer will find you, and maybe you will be just what they need in their moment of danger.